Hey guys, welcome back to Super Guy Boy Show, and today we are back with another JoJo Bizarre Adventure topical video on Jojolands Chapter 12 review. And I know, y'all have so many questions right now. The first one is, why the fuck are you doing this type of video, a live action video? And the reason is because I don't have enough time to edit at the moment. So, and because the chapter has been released this week, I think it's been a week since the chapter's been released. I'm sorry for not releasing this video much more earlier than I should. And I thought to just get a quick video out, giving my quick thoughts on this chapter and whatever. And yeah, that's personally what I want to do. So I'm sorry for this new style of content. Don't worry, it will not be permanent. This is just for now, or maybe for a couple of other videos. Maybe. It's not certain. It's just for now because I'm still going through a lot at the moment to not have enough time to edit and all that. So I'd rather just do this quick video for y'all to enjoy. And yeah, I think it's been a while since I've done a full like live action video. I think the last one was not counting my short films. Last time was like 2 years ago, like this video. It's been like that's the last time I showed my face on this channel. That wasn't a film, but whatever. Back on track on JoJo's, and today is Jojolands chapter 12. We're already 12 chapters in, a full year of Jojolands, and yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I really like this chapter. I remember the first time I read it, I was like, okay, this was cool, new informational base or whatever. But then the second time reading it, it was so much more better. And then the third and the fourth, I love this chapter. I really like it. I think I like a bit more than the last chapter, which the last chapter wasn't bad. I really like that one too, but it was more of like an action base and a bit of a shorter type of chapter more than anything. There wasn't much to really talk about that one. While this one, there's a lot to talk about. And the first one we gotta bring up is Charming Man, our new character in the cast. And to bring up other things, I'm really excited for him. From what we got, he seems to be a pretty sympathetic character who seems to be a lot more knowledgeable than our main cast themselves, which is a pretty common thing in JoJo's. Like, you got that with Mamazuku, Gyro, and all of that, Jotaro in part 4. It's a common thing that Araki does do, and it seems like he's going to play more of that mentor type for the main cast of characters. And for other things as well for other things, his backstory, which I gotta say is definitely giving me part 8 vibes by the mystery aspect we're getting. Basically, in short, his brother disappears through these tubes or whatever, and it gets like kind of washed away in these tubes. And when he tries to get the investigators, they don't want to help and everything. They kind of imply that he might have done something to his brother and bringing up his criminal past and all of that. Other interesting things to bring up is that we still don't have a definitive answer whether or not he is a rock human. I think he is, but another thing is that he isn't, because for one thing he has a brother, but at the same time the Rock twins still exist. But I kind of accept that as more of just a Rocky forgetting, if anything, for that moment. I don't know. I hate to use the Iraqi forgot for things in JoJo, but I still don't have an explanation for that. But with this one, it still hasn't been ruled out. He does still say he has sandy skin and all that, but a part of me does think that the reason why his skin is very sandy is because of the fact that his stand, because it does have something to do with his body manipulating and all of that, his stand might just manifest in his body and it might affect it physically as well. We've seen that many times in the series, like Foo Fighters, The Hustle, in this part, Doggy Style. It's a common thing in JoJo's where if a stand kind of takes a manifest in their body or something, their physical body, it can have some effects physically in their skin or whatever. And that might be the case with Charming Man. And another thing, I really like it. A part of me does think that the investigators know more than what they did. It seems like they might be behind something. I don't know why, but in this part, Araki seems to be painting the police officers as this kind of this line of abusing their own power. Not all the time, but we do see this negative negative view, this negative portrayal of police officers in this part. Not that I have any problems with it, trust me, I don't want to get political over here. But the way that Araki portrays them is very interesting. Like in the first chapter, the police officers were being like complete pieces of shit, sexually assaulting Dragona over there. And then in the second chapter, they were threatening to like physically fucking sexually harass Jodio. The cops have been kind of portrayed in this light of like very negative in that aspect. But even though I think that's because they might know more. I do think that in some ways, because we are in because we are in the view of like literal criminals over here. This isn't like part 5 where they had like a moral basis of like against drugs or whatever, you know, be a respectful mafioso in part 5. No, but instead they are criminals. They deal drugs, they do shit for selfish reasons. Even our main protagonist Jodio has a morally gray type of personality. I mean, sure, he has a morally acceptable goal of just trying to be, doing this to help his mother live a peaceful life and all that for him and his family as well. But outside of that, they're selfish. They are like not caring of anyone else besides themselves, which kind of reminds me of Johnny Joestar in that selfish aspect. And maybe it's going to be a common thing in this part, how very selfish they are compared to Charming Man himself, who is very morally in the right because he just wants to know more about his brother's disappearance compared to them, where they're just very selfish. And it's very interesting, which I think it's because that Araki's probably planning something to do with the police officers and how we kind of put police officers or people in authority in these higher ups, and really in actuality they're all corrupt just the same way as the criminals we follow themselves. I think that was a very interesting thing that I got from this chapter, from the investigators, from Charming Man's backstory. Another thing is the quick little dialogue that Jodio and Charming Man has, where they're sitting like very very like, you know, awkward and shit, and then out of nowhere fucking Jodio comes along and says like, so what type of music do you listen to? Like they literally just fought horribly too. Like he stabbed Jodio's sister. He was threatening to kill Jodio. They were literally fighting underwater, and then they're sitting there and talking like buddies and shit. It was funny to me. Personally, I see kind of Paco as a Travis Scott listener. Like he listens, not even like the deep cuts like Rodeo or something like that. I see Paco as listening to like fucking the Astroworld, like Sicko Mode, and like the hype cuts off of Astroworld and other stuff. I see Jodio as probably being a Def Grips fan. Someone who's very pretentious in his music listens. Like, oh, I listen to good music, listens to Def Grips and their most popular songs. Dragona, I think she's probably a Lady Gaga listener. Probably, I don't know. Usagi, he is definitely a JPEG Mafia and Tyler the Creator fan. He gives me that vibe. But yeah, I love that little scene, even though it has nothing to do with it. The last thing as well is when they're walking to the plane and Charming Man says how none of them are gonna make it back, or like most of them are all gonna drop out and shit, which is very surprising coming from him. It seems like the relationship between the group and Charming Man is gonna be very kind of hostile, and it will be interesting to see that thing portrayed, because really hostile type of stuff like that isn't really portrayed in JoJo's. Usually everyone gets by very quickly. There isn't much of like instances where two people have to forcibly be together and work together. You know, something similar to that is like Blondie and Tuco from The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. You know, their relationship is being forced together, and they both hate each other and trying to get each other's backs, but at the same time they both have to work each other. It's probably going to be like that, which will be interesting to see from the way it is. But yeah, outside of that, I really like this chapter. This chapter was really good. So far, the fact that we're just a year in Jojolands honestly is so interesting to me. It's kind of cool to know that I've been already starting on a new JoJo part to live to be present and a JoJo fan while a JoJo part is going on at the same time, and it's just so cool and interesting to just be part of that experience. Because I always wonder how that felt like reading, like being a JoJo fan when Steel Ball Run first came out, being a JoJo fan when Jojoland came out, and now I get to finally do that with Jojolands. So this part of the video is more of just like my overview of JoJo's in Jojolands in the last year, and honestly, it's been really fun. I know, surprisingly, I watched the X-Force video, which is what inspired this section of the video. I'm surprised that not many people are that big on the part, or like they do have some issues like the main cast in general, or like the stance, or the fight, or how the part is kind of paced. And I get that in some ways the part does feel kind of like it's moving along very quickly. In other parts it does feel like, holy shit, this, like, slow down. Like it does feel like we're rushing through some plot points. At the same time, it doesn't bother me as much, maybe because I'm looking at this in a way more newer lens, and maybe in retrospect, as if the part finishes or something like that, I might look at this in a very negative light. But I'm really enjoying it. I really love where Araki is going with this part. It's really good, and I hope to God that Jojolands is starts strong and finishes strong, because that is the thing I want in this part. As much as I know it's not possible, I do feel like that maybe some ways it might be like a Steel Ball Run. Who knows? Maybe it might be as good as Steel Ball Run, but at the same time, Steel Ball Run is impossible to kind of replicate. Steel Ball Run is kind of a impossible thing to replicate. It's like a once in a lifetime that a writer can do. And unfortunately, I don't think that's possible. But even if he's not able to reach that Steel Ball Run standard, he can make a great part, and that's all I want. That's all I want. And I really enjoyed this chapter, and I'm really enjoying part 9 so far, and hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Leave your comments down below, what's your thoughts on the chapter, and yeah, hopefully you had a great time, hopefully you had a great day, and yeah, see ya!